The real estate market is not crashing, it's just shifting. Hey, Lily with Living Room Realty here in Portland, Oregon, here to give you a monthly market update for the month of August 2022. Okay, as I said there in the beginning, just want to start right off the bat as I go into these numbers of what's happening in the real estate market right now and talking about the anecdotal things that we are seeing out in the streets. The real estate market is not crashing at the moment. The real estate market isn't in some crazy turmoil. It is just shifting more towards a balanced market. If you've been watching these videos for a while, you know that I always go based off what we're really seeing in the facts and what we see in history of markets past. And I can just give you a boiled down version of what we see. I can't predict what's going to happen in the future, but I can tell you what we're seeing now and what we saw in the past. And hopefully you can then make the best decisions for yourself in real estate. So randomly made that little disclaimer there, but I hope this helps. So when I say that we're not crashing in the market, I'm about to tell you that we did see a decrease in activity overall when it comes to new homes to the market, pending sales, and sold homes, which is some people can be, especially if you're a home seller, give you a little bit of anxiety and thinking, oh crap, is the market just completely shutting down, seeing that we have some economic turmoil, there keeps being talks of recession and higher interest rates. I really think what we're seeing right now in the market, though, and what most realtors and most economists are saying, is we're just seeing a little bit of a market slowdown with those higher interest rates. And then we're really seeing ourselves shift more into some sort of balance, which arguably is good for everybody. So, been talking about it a little bit here. I'll go right into the numbers. For new homes to the market, we did see a decrease of about 12% with 3,763 homes hitting the market last month. Pending sales, we saw a decrease of just about 4% with 2,445 homes going under contract. And then we did see a pretty major decrease of sold homes of about 18% with 2,369 homes going to new homeowners. So with all of that, even though we saw a decrease in new listings, we actually did see an inventory bump, which, we talked a lot about inventory. We actually, exciting enough for you home buyers, saw an inventory bump of up to 2 months, which is massive. That is the highest we have seen inventory since May of 2020. So huge that we are in a place right now where we're finally seeing that inventory go up to a manageable place, which arguably, again, would be good for both buyers and sellers. I know sellers, you might be like, hey, I want the lowest inventory to get all that craziness, but watch, I think my last video recently, we talked a lot about how a more balanced market can be, in the end, good for sellers, even if you're not getting those crazy deals. So with there being less new listings, because we also had less activity with pending sales and sold homes, we are seeing inventory go up, which means, right now, if we were to have no new homes go on the market, we would have 2 months. It would take 2 months for all of our inventory to be used, which is a lot better than, 1 month of inventory that we've been kind of sitting at since the beginning of the pandemic. So this is kind of the first time we're seeing numbers go closer to pre-pandemic stability, which, again, is good to see. Everybody wants to see it. And what I'll also note with that too is that we are still seeing average sales price of homes in the Portland metro area stabilizing and staying steady. So that's when we talk about, well, is the market crashing versus is the market stabilizing more? One area that we are seeing that the market is more so just stabilizing is that prices of homes really haven't dramatically dropped that much. It does depend on price point, area, certain things, certain neighborhoods, Beaverton, Tigard, where the suburbs, were seeing a lot of huge demand still because those were such hot areas during the pandemic, people wanting to move out of the city. So there are certain areas where you're still gonna see a lot of those multiple offers. And then there's other price points, other areas where maybe, you are actually finally starting to see some houses sit on the market for 2 weeks. I, was just showing homes in Sellwood and was like shocked to see a home in such a prime area sit on the market. There was one home in particular that was on the market for like 12 days, nothing really wrong with it. And so you are seeing that shift in the market some. But prices are still high because there are those areas that are still in demand. And relatively, we still are in a place, even with buyers being a little bit more hesitant right now due to interest rates and instability, there is still such a demand for properties when you look at the amount of homes available relative to that demand. So even with lower demand, right now we're still sitting at 2 months. A balanced market between its buyers and sellers is 6 months of inventory. So that all being said, average sales price did see an increase, as I said, and that was to $620,000. So we are still seeing that steadily increase. Throughout the pandemic, we stayed under 600. Last few months, we have been slowly creeping up above 600K. So good for you sellers to know that while the market has shifted some, we might want to, if we've talked about prices in the past of what you should list your home for, we're going to have another, conversation now and be even more strategic when it comes to price, really looking at what has been selling recently or what has gone pending recently, because that's going to be the most accurate numbers. Definitely something we can talk about if you are looking to sell your house one-on-one, because there's so many variables to that. And then this is also really obviously good for you home buyers to know, because you might be thinking or reading some articles that are saying like, hey, the market's about to crash or possible crash, which yes, none of us can predict the future, but just noting in terms of if you're thinking about with a recession, if there's going to be a market crash, in 6 of the 8 last recessions, home prices did actually continue to go up. So even if a recession does happen, that's where that is. And I just want to let you know, you want to make a full and value decision based off all of the info. And seeing that average home prices are still on the rise, even though you're dealing with higher interest rates right now. Interest rates you can always buy down later or refinance, whereas the price you pay for a home is always going to be that same. So I would hate for you to wait out on homes and see prices still continue to rise. Again, this is another thing we can talk one-on-one based on your particular scenarios, whether it is better for you to wait some time or to get out there in the market sooner than later. But yeah, date. Gonna keep going because I've gone so long. Average price is still on the rise as of right now, and I'll let you know if that changes anytime soon. In terms of what we see in the future for the market, again, can't predict fully, but what we're thinking right now, I've talked to some agents I know across the country, especially across the West Coast, some of those bigger markets like LA, San Diego, Bay Area, Seattle. I am hearing that in those markets where our trends tend to kind of go a little bit behind them, they are starting to pick up a lot. So I'm hearing from listing agents and buyer agents across the West Coast and in other places that are saying, yeah, we are starting to see activity pick up, which is already kind of what we were predicting, is that buyers are going to get more used to the current interest rates and then feel like, okay, maybe I can re-enter the market. And so my prediction is here in the fall, we're going to see people getting used to those interest rates, seeing that prices aren't going to just drop dramatically, re-enter the market, reinvigorate the market. So while we'll still see some stability happening to it, there is going to be more activity for both buyers and sellers, and it will be a good time. I think really, big indicator historically is typically when school starts. I think for most Portland schools, they start August 30th. So we're already close to when school starts. People are going to be back home. They're not going to be on as many vacations, and people are going to get focused on real estate again. So curious to tell you next month where we see the numbers going and anecdotally what we're seeing in the market. I'm going to stop there for all of this. If you have any questions for me in particular about anything we talked about in this video or anything for you in your real estate journey, I am here for you. My contact information will be below this, and look forward to chatting with you about all things Portland area real estate. All right, thank you. Bye.